Hey guys, it's Raul again, and today I'll be sharing with you my May wrap-up. So in the month of May, I was able to complete 5 books, which I am super excited about because I was actually feeling a little bit slumpy in May, but was still able to complete 5 physical books. I didn't read any audiobooks or listen to any audiobooks. These were all physical copies that I was able to get through, so really excited that I was able to complete 5 of these, so I will go ahead and quickly share those with you guys today. Now, the first book I completed in the month of May was Death Note Volume 5. I have been wanting to complete this for the longest time. I started this book, I think it was back in like October or November, and read halfway through this volume and then just kind of put it down because the series, I feel like it's just dragging on a little bit for me. If you guys don't know what Death Note is about, it's about this boy who finds this notebook that belonged to this demon, and any name that he writes in this notebook, that person dies. So he kind of, the series kind of goes back and forth with morality and what true morality is, and the fine line that walks between doing something moral or doing something bad with good intentions. So yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed the first couple of volumes, haven't really loved the last couple ones. Again, it feels like at this point it's kind of dragging a little bit. That's probably why it took me so long to finally read the second half of this volume. At the end, I think I gave it like 3 stars or so, 3 out of 5 stars. Enjoyed it. I need to finish the last one. I have one more volume left in the series, and we'll finish it probably sometime this summer. We'll see what happens, but I don't know. I feel like I'm getting a little bit bored with the series at this point. And then I read Man Enough by Justin Baldoni. This is a nonfiction book that talks about undefining masculinity, the kind of negative connotations with males in society, and kind of, what they're allowed and not allowed to do, machismo, and kind of negative kind of connotations or thought process with men showing emotion and that kind of thing. This is a really, really interesting and very important book. I mentioned this one in my TBR last month. If you guys have not seen Justin Baldoni's TED Talk, I will link it down below so you guys can watch it because it is great, and that's kind of what inspired this book. And then I guess he did like an internet show based off of this, where he was having conversations with different men, kind of sharing their feelings and stuff. So again, this is one that really, really resonated with me. I absolutely love this one. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I highly recommend it if you guys are, curious about this kind of topic of, masculinity and toxic masculinity and that kind of thing. It's definitely a really, really interesting book, and I feel like it's a very important perspective to have in today's society with, everything that has to do with masculinity and gender and that kind of thing as well. So really, really loved this one. And then I completed People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This was one of my most anticipated books of 2021, and I absolutely loved it. Emily Henry is an auto-buy author for me. I've talked about her on my channel before. I will link a video that I did on the screen of highlighting all of her books and everything. I've loved mostly everything that she's written, and this is her second adult contemporary novel that she has come out with. Her first one being Beach Read, and this one follows 2 main characters, Poppy and Alex, who are best friends, and they are complete opposites. They meet in college, and then every year they've taken a vacation throughout the summer, and they kind of, like being able to travel and do kind of things together, even though that, they're complete opposites. And this is a kind of friends to lovers type of story, so you kind of know where this is going. But in one of their vacations, something ends up happening that kind of, tears them apart a little bit. For the last 2 years, they haven't gone on their normal summer vacation. And then one year, Poppy decides to reach out to Alex and kind of rekindle this whole tradition of going on vacations to kind of save their friendship, and things kind of take off from there. Again, I really, really enjoyed this one. I don't think it was as good as Beach Read, or I didn't enjoy it as much as Beach Read, but I still absolutely loved it. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars because, again, I love Emily Henry's writing, and her characters and her dialogue is just hilarious, and I absolutely loved everything that was going on in this book. You really got to see kind of these different perspectives of them in the present, trying to rekindle their friendship, and then going back through all of the vacations that they've had from the moment they met up until the moment that kind of everything blew up in their faces. Really, really fun read. I absolutely loved it. It's perfect for the summertime, so if you guys have not checked anything out by Emily Henry before, I highly recommend you guys check this one out. And then I read Rabbits by Terry Miles. This is an ARC I received through NetGalley, and it is an adult science fiction novel that follows our main character, Kay. Now, I don't know if this was done on purpose or anything, but I don't feel like you even know what gender Kay is, which is kind of cool because you can kind of like imagine Kay as being whatever in your mind, and they literally go by the letter K, and that is it. That's all you know about this main character, and they are playing this game, this real-world game called Rabbits. So it's kind of reminiscent reminiscent of The Matrix. You know, the beginning kind of scenes, it reminded me of The Matrix, where, you know, Neo is kind of at his computer, he receives like this cryptic message from Trinity to follow the White Rabbit, and then he gets visited by these people at his apartment, and there's a girl that has a tattoo of a white rabbit, so then he kind of knows to follow this girl. So this is kind of like the essence of this game, this real world game, is that these people kind of get these clues throughout, you know, real life that they're seeing, and they kind of have to make these connections. The game is a big secret. Not a lot of people even know this game exists, and the people that know the game exists don't even know who the winners are. There's not really any clear instructions of how to play the game, how to win the game. They just know that the winners of this game kind of essentially get their biggest desire, their biggest wish in life is granted to them after winning this game. But again, it's kind of hard to really figure out how to even play or win, because there's really not many instructions about this game at all. So Kay teams up with Chloe, I believe it is, and they come together to kind of solve this game. He's visited by, or they are visited by, one of the supposed winners of this game, and is told that they have to save this game. There's something wrong with the game, and they have to fix it before the new kind of game starts. This new kind of version of the game starts. They're on the 11th version at this point, but the game starts. They have not found out what it is that's wrong with the game. They don't know how to fix it, and they have to now start playing this game and trying to figure out what's wrong with it. There are a lot of things going on, people disappearing and deaths and things throughout this whole thing, and it's super, super interesting. I was really, really intrigued very quickly on in this book. The beginning is kind of a little bit info dumpy. It took me a little while to kind of get used to this writing style, just because, again, you don't know much about our main character at all, and again, it's a little bit info dumpy, so that kind of, that wasn't, you know, I don't really enjoy that much right at the beginning of a book where it's too much info dumping. But then things kind of picked up pretty quickly on, and I really ended up enjoying kind of their journey, and, you know, seeing everything that was kind of playing out. It was super, super interesting, very intriguing, and I just ended up really, really enjoying this novel a lot more than I thought I was going to. I mean, I knew I was going to enjoy it somewhat because of the concept, but I hadn't heard the greatest reviews, or at least seen the greatest reviews on Goodreads about the book. But in the end, I ended up really, really enjoying it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. This book comes out on June 8th, the day I believe that this video is going live, so it'll be out now if you guys want to go ahead and check that out. I really recommend it if you guys enjoy adult science fiction. And then towards the end of May, I kind of got into a little bit of a rut with my mental health and everything, so I kind of wanted to read you know, happier books, more contemporary stuff to kind of get myself into a better mood. I wanted to read something that made me happy, and again, you know, People Meet on Vacation was kind of the start of that, you know, diving into things that make me smile, things that make me laugh. So I ended up picking up The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. I had never read anything by Morgan Matson before, and this was on my shelf. I know her newest book sounded really interesting. It's pitched as a mix between Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist and Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which are two of my favorite things in the world. So I knew I needed to pick something up by Morgan Matson. I didn't want to buy that book just yet until I kind of tested out Morgan Matson's writing, and I remembered I had this one on my shelf, so I decided to pick this one up and see how things went, and I absolutely ended up adoring this book. This was exactly what I needed at exactly the right time. You guys know when, you know, you pick up a book and it ends up being exactly what you wanted at that time. This was that book. I absolutely adored it. It's a YA contemporary that follows our main characters, Andy and Clark, and Andy is the daughter of a politician. Their mother has passed away at this point, and her dad is kind of really involved in his job, and there's kind of a scandal that's going on within him and his you know, his job and everything that's going on, so he's kind of forced to be away from his work for a while. Andy was supposed to be going into this kind of new summer program that ended up kind of falling through because of the scandal that's going, you know, that's revolving around her dad. So she ends up kind of having to change her plans completely for the summer, get a job. She meets Clark. She has this great friendship group that they, you know, you kind of get to see throughout this book kind of develop and see their friendship and everything and how it holds strong. And things kind of, you know, get, you know, romancy and, you know, kind of like your typical YA contemporary. You know there's going to be a love story. You know that Andy and Clark are kind of going to fall for each other. That's kind of a routine in YA contemporaries, but again, I feel like this was one that was done really, really well. It is a fairly long one. This is over 500 pages, so it was a little bit intimidating going into this, you know, a contemporary that's over 500 pages. I thought it was going to drag. I thought it was going to be way too long, but I felt like this was the perfect length. It was paced really well. I enjoyed everything that was going on. I didn't feel like anything was unnecessary or that anything was taking too long to get through. I really, really enjoyed Morgan Manson's writing style and will definitely want to check out more by her in the future. Again, this, I don't know if it's just because I was in the mood for something like this and it ended up being absolutely perfect, or because the book is actually, you know, that good. I know a lot of people, when this book first came out, weren't enjoying it as much, but again, for me, it just kind of, I read it at the perfect time, so that's why I ended up loving it so much. So yeah, guys, it is it for all of the books that I read in May. Comment down below, let me know what you guys read in the month of May. If you guys have read anything that I have read, please let me know what your thoughts are on them. I normally would lump in kind of my, you know, TBR for this, but I think I'm going to do like a summer TBR for June, July, and August, and the books that I'm kind of planning on reading throughout the summer are the ones that are kind of on my immediate radar or TBR, so keep your eye out for that, for the books that I'm planning or thinking about reading for the summer. Before you go, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you guys all again for watching, and I will see you all next time.